It's May 11th and welcome to the final CCN of the year. On today's broadcast, our staff looks into favorite memories, senior projects, and saying goodbye to some beloved teachers. In the newsroom, Matthew Market will have your sports update, and I'll deliver the news you need to know here at HCHS and out in the world. I'm MJ Mayo, and this is the CCN. Good morning, Colonels, and welcome back to the last CCN of the year. I'm MJ Mayo, your host these past 2.5 years. Let's get started with your morning announcements. Amnesty Day is today in the Media Center. Any student with overdue library books or English novels is encouraged to return their books today because your finals will be forgiven. Jack Mayo, I'm speaking to you. Seniors, the deadline to turn in your Holiday World permission slips is Friday. Your bus will be assigned to you as you turn in your slips. If you need to return early for an after-school activity, please see Mrs. Bailey at the CTE unit desk. Project graduation tickets are on sale at the bookstore, seniors. Tickets are $5 for seniors and $7 for guests. The Student Services Office has summer school forms available for students who want to take Spanish 1 this summer. The deadline is tomorrow. Seniors, please make sure that you pay your fees and fines by the end of the day next Thursday. Your diploma will be withheld until your balance is paid. Next up is Preston Royster, who asked around about students' favorite high school memories. Preston?
Hey guys, this is Preston Royster with the CCN. My final show. We're going to go find out what your favorite high school moment was. What's your favorite high school moment?
Joining JRTC.
Being asked to be on the last CCN.
What's your favorite high school moment?
Being in the early childhood education field.
My favorite high school moment would be when I joined the dance team.
I'd say my favorite high school moment is when I made my YouTube video.
I know. Coming to intervention.
Probably going to the girls' Sweet 16, rooting on our Lady Colonels. It's really fun being a part of the pep band and getting lit at those games.
Back on freshman year, whenever we made the big HCHS out in the football field, out of all the freshmen and sophomores and juniors and seniors, and just really cool moment for me, and I think that's something I'll remember for a while.
Alright guys, thank you for letting me know what your favorite high school moment was. Catch you later.
Thanks, Preston. And now we go to your world news. It was an election that felt very, very familiar to those who paid attention. A far-right candidate pushing for closed borders and calling themselves the law and order candidate. A left-leaning but really centrist candidate whose campaign suffered a Russian hacking attack shortly before the election. A country on the verge of big changes depending on who won. But I'm obviously not talking about the American election here, as France this past weekend elected centrist Emmanuel Macron their new president, defeating Marine Le Pen by over 30 points. Macron, the youngest person elected president of France, declared he would use his 5-year term to hear and protect the most fragile in the country. Of course, he's going to face many challenges, as he was elected from a new political party that currently has no standing in France's parliament, and will have to build his own coalition to get his legislation through. But for now, vive la France. When dealing with radioactive materials, there are a few nightmare scenarios that pass through one's head. One of those situations happened Tuesday when a tunnel filled with radioactive waste in Hanover, Washington partially collapsed, sending emergency crews into overdrive as they worked to secure the area and prevent any radioactive material from escaping into the air or nearby Columbia River. The site, where the first nuclear weapons in history had their plutonium cores made, houses the largest site of nuclear waste cleanup in the country, with over 56 million gallons of radioactive waste sitting in tunnels just like the one that collapsed. As of press time, no one was injured in the collapse, and the Washington Department of Ecology stated no radioactive material had escaped, but keep an eye on this one because it might just be the start of a very scary story for those living in Washington state. It's my last show, and if you thought I was going to let it go without mentioning President Trump, you're sorely mistaken. What's he been up to this week? Well, word came out that the president had been warned not to hire Michael Flynn, who was forced to resign from his position as National Security Advisor after just weeks in the job when it came out he'd had some shady ties to Russia. Who warned him? None other than former President Barack Obama, a view that was backed up by then-acting Attorney General Sally Yates, who said intelligence showed that Russia might have materials that could be used to blackmail Flynn. Then Tuesday, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham pledged to do a full investigation into the president's business dealings with Russia, including the fascinating statement that it's too soon to subpoena President Trump's tax returns. It would be helpful to see them. Then Then, on Tuesday afternoon, after this script was already written, the president fired FBI Director James Comey, who has stated that Trump's ties to Russia are under investigation, leading a whole bunch of people to start saying things like Nixonian and Trump's Watergate. The reason for the firing? That Trump and the nation had lost faith in Comey and the FBI needed a fresh start, and claimed that Comey had told him in private 3 times that Trump wasn't under investigation. I literally can't even anymore. Buckle up, my fellow Americans, because it's looking like it's going to be a bumpy summer. Now Peyton Littlepage heads over to the Fine Arts Department, talking to students of Mr. Thomas and Mr. Miller about their experiences with them.
This week on the Colonel Cast News, we're saying goodbye to 2 influential teachers in the music department. Why are you leaving HCHS?
So I was offered a position to attend the University of Louisville in the fall to get my master's degree in choral conducting, and it's something I've always wanted to do, and it's a place that I really enjoy the type of music that they do. It was an offer that I couldn't pass up.
And is there anywhere specific you want to teach or conduct?
I think I'd like to teach collegiately at some point. I wouldn't leave HCHS to go to another high school. I've really enjoyed my time here. It's important to me that my students know that that they are not a reason that I'd be leaving. It's been nothing but wonderful teaching here, but I'd like at some point to go back and teach at a college.
Why are you leaving Henderson County High School?
Well, it's always been a goal of mine to be a college professor, to be Dr. Thomas, a doctor of music, and I knew that I would only be able to teach for so many years before it was finally time to go back and pursue higher education another time. And so the time was right. I've had a great experience in Henderson County High School.
Yeah, Mr. Thomas has just always been overall a really great guy, and he was really impressionable, and he always connected with the students really well. And I know personally I just had the drive to get better because I wanted to impress Mr. Thomas, and I cared a lot about what he thought about me, and he was just a really cool guy. I'm going to miss him.
I think he's always provided a great example for the students and even some of the other teachers around here, for not even just as a teacher or as an instructor, but as a person. And I don't think it's going to be the same without him here.
I remember going through the past 2 years have been kind of rough at some points, and Mr. Miller as a person, as an educator, and as a performer has been a good influence on me, and he's been a good guider to me through this interesting and difficult time, and that's just something I'll always and forever be grateful for, and we'll miss having him around for sure.
They always knew what to say. He was a great mentor. Not only did he help us improve vocally, but he helped us improve as people too.
Thanks to all those we talked to about Mr. Thomas and Mr. Miller. Back to the studio.
Thanks, Peyton. And from the CCN here, we appreciate the contributions of Mr. Thomas and Mr. Miller to HCHS and wish them the best of luck next year. Next up is Matthew Market bringing you sports.
How you doing, County? I'm Matthew Market bringing you sports. The NBA is in the next round of the playoffs, and in the Western Conference, the Golden State Warriors are beating the Utah Jazz in a series of 3-0. The Rockets are tied with the Spurs in a series of 2-2. In the Eastern Conference, the Boston Celtics are tied in a series of 2-2 with the Wizards. Cleveland is the first, again, to sweep the Raptors in a series of 4-0, which means Boston and Washington will have to face the Cavs. Some results from the NFL Draft. Jamal Adams will play as a safety for the Jets. He was the 6th pick in the first round. Jamal stands at 6 feet tall and 214 pounds. Alex Anzalone is the Saints' newest linebacker. He was the 12th pick in the 3rd round. At 6'3" and 241 pounds, this man is the next Clay Matthews. He even has hair just like Clay Matthews. Mitchell Trubisky is going to the Bears as a quarterback. Mitchell stands at 6'2" and weighs in at 222 pounds. This is all the market has in store. The market is now closed. This is Matthew Market, signing off.
Thanks, Matthew. For our last segment this year, here's Alexis Santana asking around about senior projects.
Hi, I'm Alexis Santana. I'm here at the CCN, and we're going to talk to students about their senior projects.
Senior projects is when you present a project about your own topic that you got to choose in front of a panel of judges. And my project was over the human rights and human rights in just general. And I think my project went really well because I used my own experiences in life that related to the topic.
Hi, I'm Jamie Belka, and I already did the senior project. I was one of the first people that did my senior project. And what it is basically you have to pick a topic over something that you are very knowledgeable about, and you have to do a presentation in front of a panel of judges, and it's required in order to graduate. And mine was over sensitive topics, which is basically how to talk to your child about sensitive information in a comfortable way. And I made a 96 on it, so I thought I did pretty decent. I was really nervous when I was in the room waiting to go into the classroom, but whenever I actually went in to perform it, it was a lot easier than I thought it was.
The senior project is about talking about a certain topic for a certain amount of time. My topic was professional wrestling. I feel like I did good, and I know I did good because I got an 86%.
Thank you, students, for your time, and back to the studio with MJ.
Thanks, Alexis. Stay tuned next for final thoughts. This is my final farewell. I'm going to cry within the next 10 minutes, I can guarantee you that. The CCN, which I changed from the Colonel Cast 2 years ago, has been the best part of my high school experience. It's been a lot of work, and I appreciate all of the support I've gotten from teachers and students, and I've even been aptly nicknamed the News Girl. These 3 years I've spent with the journalism program have humbled me beyond belief, and it has been such an honor to get behind the desk every week and offer my opinion, which apparently a lot of you listen to. CCN has been my clutch throughout high school, and I really don't know what I'll hang on to next because of it. I've been so fortunate to get to know everyone I've interviewed and worked with, and to love what we've produced because of it. So thank you, Henderson County High School, for listening to me babble each week, for giving the CCN a chance. Thanks for giving me a chance. Thanks for sticking with me these past 3 years. It's been a pleasure. This is MJ Mayo signing off for the CCN for the very last time.